I'm terrified of regret. I don't want to live with regret. So I make the decision from, I'm on my deathbed, I'm looking back, will I regret doing this or not doing this? And it's very rarely the things that we regret doing, it's the actions not taken. Things that we could have done that we didn't, that we were afraid to do. So I try to make that fear of regret so big that it forces me to action. And I could deal with it not working, I could deal with the failure, but I couldn't deal with not knowing. The Rolling Stones in their 70s still playing music from the 60s. I admire that they're still out singing, but like you haven't come up with a new song for like 20 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be the aging rock star. I'm going to be an aging badass.
Reading about how you had the opportunity to go become a banker in New York.
Yeah.
But you chose to pursue entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And you know, everyone always has two options in life that really will pull them. And I want to get your take on how should somebody go about choosing, like making such a big decision that you did, and like, how you felt in that process.
So the two things that really guided me to help make that decision, and it wasn't an easy decision, it was probably the most difficult decision of my life. One is big decisions with your heart and small ones with your head. Your head can only understand a world that currently exists, where your heart can create something new. And so if you sit there and you're making a list of pros and cons, it's a losing mentality, because you can't think your way through something that should be with the heart. So, you know, what opportunity you chase, what girl you date shouldn't be based on, well, it's this checklist of perfect things. It's like, how do I feel about her? Right? How do you feel about this opportunity? So big decisions always with the heart, and then your head will help you figure out how to make it happen. Because sometimes what your heart wants to do doesn't make any sense. So you gotta make your brain your ally, because often it's against you at the beginning. The big, scary, crazy thing that you should be doing, that your heart tells you to do, doesn't make any sense. So your head's working against you. They're opposite. So you make it with your heart, and then you let your head say, okay, heart, okay, head, we're doing this. How should we do it? And your head will figure out. And the other one was just regret. Like, I'm terrified of regret. I don't want to live with regret. So I make the decision from, I'm on my deathbed, I'm looking back, will I regret doing this or not doing this? And it's very rarely the things that we regret doing, it's the actions not taken. Things that we could have done that we didn't, that we were afraid to do. So I try to make that fear of regret so big that it forces me to action.
Mm-hmm. And so where did did you just always believe that you could do that, become an entrepreneur and succeed?
No, I mean, I wanted to be a banker. You know, entrepreneurship was not part of my culture growing up. My family, my environment, my friends, we weren't, you know, heavily into entrepreneurship. It also wasn't as popular, you know, in the late 80s, early 90s when I was getting started. It was just by me saying yes to joining a company instead of taking a job, only because I thought I might regret it. That was it. It's like, I'm gonna say yes to being in a startup and owning a piece of a company because I knew I could go get another job. I didn't know if I can get the same job with the same pay, but I can get something close. Yeah. But this opportunity, I didn't know if I'd ever get again. So I had to do it. And I could deal with it not working, I could deal with the failure, but I couldn't deal with not knowing. Yeah. And so I try to use that as my frame of reference always.
It's so interesting because I feel like everybody knows this, including myself, when you get caught up in the moment and you know you're going to regret something. So why do you think people, even though they know they're going to regret it later on in life, why do you think, even with the common sense, they don't do it?
Because they think that the immediate pain is greater than the micro pains over time. Because the pain of, like the pain right now of doing that thing might be level 50. But the pain of like just suffering tomorrow is just 1. But then another 1 the next day, and another 1 the next day, another 1. So that adds up. Those 1s every day add up to like 2 million. But because those 2 million are so far away, you don't think of it as that painful, and you just see the 50 in front of you as this huge number. And so what I try to do is I try to get to 2 million. I try to make the 2 million like 20 million and bring it back to today. Like, this is going to be the greatest thing of all time that I'm going to miss out on if I don't do it. Mm-hmm. So that's why.
Do you always do something every day to get out of your comfort zone on that level, or is it? I
honestly probably don't do enough. I probably don't do enough. I mean, I don't think anybody does enough, to be honest. Mm-hmm. What I do might be at a high level compared to what most people do, but I don't very much give myself credit for being like always on the edge and always taking risks, because I feel like I can do more.
Mm-hmm. And going back to what you said about not doing enough, do you think that's one of the, because you're a very humble person, and you've achieved such amazing success, but to yourself, you're nowhere near you need to go. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that is what makes you so successful? Like not looking at the success really that often?
So I think you need to be your biggest critic and your biggest fan. I think we tend to default into one or the other. I think you need to be both. I think some people are their biggest critic and you're really hard on yourself, but you also have to love yourself and think you're amazing. And I think some people love themselves so much and they think everything they do is fire, but they never criticize it, so they never actually grow. Like, why am I not growing? I'm amazing. Well, like, you're actually not that amazing, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm usually in a public way very humble and very, not self-deprecating, but like, I need to grow, I need to get better, I need to improve, I need to keep going. And often that means that people come back to me and they say, well, don't worry, like, you're doing so well, like, you're amazing. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm awesome. Mm-hmm. My channel should have a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, I'm great. But I don't lead with that. Because that's at the core, I know I'm amazing, and so I don't question that. So then when I'm critical, I live mostly in the critical. I want to get better, but it's all based off of a foundation of I'm amazing. So when you're watching my videos or giving feedback, all I want to hear is like how to get better, how do I improve, how do I make it. I want the critical stuff, and it doesn't rock me because I think I'm great. So I think when people fall into one of the two camps, you need to be both, your biggest fan and your biggest critic.
Yeah. And like going along that journey, were you always willing to accept the criticism, or was that something you cultivated along the way and it just got easier and easier? Were you always so
I think it's like a stress test. Like at the beginning, it's hard to deal with, but you don't get that much of it. When I'm making videos, it was harder to deal with the criticism, but I wasn't getting that many views, and I wasn't getting that much hate either. So it became, you know, you grow. Yeah. Like, I'm not walking into trying to lift 1,000 pounds. I'm gaining muscle as I go. Now the haters are greater right now, but I have way more fans, and I'm also stronger and able to take it. So I think you acquire those skills as you grow and start getting some feedback.
Yeah, definitely. And for your YouTube channel, I know your goal is to impact 1 billion entrepreneurs, and you want to unlock all the potential within entrepreneurs. So I find that really interesting, because I know you even talk about like, you know you're never going to attain that goal in life, and yet you still set it for yourself, and that motivates you and energizes you, and that goes against conventional wisdom about, you know, setting a mission that you can reach, and because you're never going to reach it. So how does that motivate you? How does that drive you if you know you're never going to be able to see the outcome, never be able to taste the success in that?
Because the goal is not to reach the goal is the process of reaching the goal. So I use the analogy of swimming. I'm swimming in an ocean, I never want to reach the island, I want to swim forever. Because what ends up happening is you reach the island, and then what? You're happy for a second, and then you're upset. When you hit your goal, you're happy for an hour, and then, okay, now what? Like, everything you've tied your identity to achieving this goal, you've done it, and now you feel sad. Now you need a new goal. And so what I want to do is not just tie like it maybe takes you 3 years to get to that first goal. Like, yeah, I did it. And then, okay, well, now what do I do? I don't want to tie my identity to these 1 every 3 year, 1 hour moments of happiness. I want to enjoy the swim. Yeah. So I don't want it to be an island.
And is that only through realization and through experience of setting these goals and realizing they're not cracked up to what they be?
Yeah, and I think I don't even celebrate. I celebrate for the fans. People are like, when you hit 1 million, are you going to do anything? Oh yeah, we should probably do something, right? Yeah. But it's like, it's nothing. It's like, I want to be out here. It's still small, but I think I think that's still the loving yourself and being the critic. Like, I got to love my fans as hard as I am on myself. It helps them to celebrate. So I celebrate for them. but it doesn't mean much to me. Because I want to already be, I'm moving on. Like, great, milestone, next. So when did I hit 1 million? I don't know. Like, I don't pay attention to those things. I'm only looking in forward direction, not rearview mirror.
Yeah, all the content I see, it's all moving forward, or all pushing out content like, so fast.
One of the things that bothers me, one of the things that I'm terrified of is living off my back catalog. Like, the Rolling Stones in their 70s still playing music from the 60s. I admire that they're still out singing, but like, you haven't come up with a new song for like 20 years. That terrifies me. Like, the video that I put up today, I want to be like my new worst video. When I'm 70, I want to be making insanely epic content that like puts whatever I'm doing today to shame. I don't want to rely on my back catalog. I want to keep swimming.
Is that what holds back most people, you find?
No. I think those successful people get complacent. They stop losing their ambition. I think that's it. Like, we did everything. We hit our goals. We played the stadiums. We did the big things that we wanted to do. And then you don't know what to do next. I never want that. There's always a next. There's always something, like, the best is tomorrow. The best is still to come. That's how I think.
No, yeah.
So though, like, I look at aging rock stars as motivation. Like, they gave up, they stopped, they hit the apex in their 30s, they did the tours, they made their money, and then they gave up. I don't want that. So everything I do now is like the worst that I'm doing. It's only going to get insanely better, right? And now I don't always make it insanely better, but it's always my intention. It's always my, like, maybe this interview sucks, but it's always my intention to make it the best that I can do right now with my abilities. Right? And if you go every day trying with that intention to make it happen, then you will make some things happen. But if you give up, you hit your goal, hey, okay, what do we do next? You know? I don't want to be the aging rock star. I'm going to be an aging badass, making crazy content. That's my goal.
And I see that drives ever so present. That really motivates me to try and aspire to do similar things. And looking at all the content you're posting up and innovating so much, and trying to aspire to do everything you want to do, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I view you as obsessed, no longer passionate. So I want to get your thoughts on obsession versus passionate. Like, do you feel like there's a difference? And do you feel like to get to the level that you are through, for instance, my eyes, and the level where you need to go and the people you put on your channel, do you feel like passion is enough to get you there, or do you need to become obsessed?
I really struggle with labels. Like, I spend zero time thinking about this stuff. Like, are you an entrepreneur or not? Can you be an entrepreneur if you're in a corporation? I don't know. Do you think you're an entrepreneur? Good. Yes. Like, let's not spend time on this. Let's go. So passionate versus obsessed is like a hard thing for me. So I'm like working through it as I'm talking out loud because I don't spend any time thinking about it. It's good. Right?
I'm glad you liked it.
Well, no, I think it's a terrible question, but I want to bring value, right? Because my default answer is like, I don't spend any time on it. What, like, you want something, go get it. Stop worrying. Because my fear is somebody says, well, I'm passionate, but I'm not obsessed. Like, stop thinking and just go do. Don't worry. You're obsessed, but you're not passionate. Like, go, make, get out of your head and create. Go. That's what I want to say, but I also want to, like, I want to take it a level deeper, and I'm struggling to, like, connect to it in a way that brings value to the audience here.
Well, just in terms of, like, sacrificing, and because you've definitely had to sacrifice a lot, I find, to get to a certain level.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Seinfeld calls it the torture you can endure. And I like that. I think if I stepped into your schedule, I should find it torturous. Like, it's torture. Like, whatever you do, like, oh, I hate my life because it's so intense. And people jumping into what I do should be torture. I think you got to find the thing that you love so much that the process, the swimming, this is a swimming. How many people watch this? I don't care. This is what you need to pay attention to. We're swimming. If 18 people watch this or 18 million, I'm not attached to it. I'm not talking to you because this video has to blow up or not. Like, this is the process. And so find the thing that you love doing that you can forget to eat and forget to pee and forget to have anything, right?
Yeah.
And then like when you turn it off, you want to fall apart. Like, I'm gonna go home and just die on the bed.
Yeah.
I think that's healthy.
Is that the formula for
That's
success?
the formula. Find the thing that you are dying doing, but you don't know you're dying. Other people would die instantaneously, and then when you stop it, you feel like you're gonna die.
That was the answer
That's the
right
answer.
there.
There you
Yes,
go. Okay.
That was perfect.
Love it, man.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing.
So let me give you the one-word secret to happiness. One word. This is all you need to be happy.
The most important word ever.
If you had to think of one word that's most important to you, or that sums you up, or that would be kind of like a little beacon.
This interview was done as a part of my Toronto workshop. If you want more details on the next one to sign up, check out the link right there next to me. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.